Okay, this is a demonstration on how to use Photoshop to separate out the colors in your graphic image for your color inventory project, the proportionate color usage. And all that means is that we're looking to find out how much the artist used of one color versus another. So the proportion. Does this image look like it's using 50% of that gray that's in the road, or is it more like 65%? What I'm about to teach you will help you kind of separate your colors and see, guess the percentage of usage, okay? By doing this project, you are also doing a color journal project. So make sure that you look to the color journal, and I think it's like number 7 or number 8 in the color journal, and it's a color separation project. This will really help you with printmaking, with web design, with any kind of output that will require printing. So this will really help you with that. So you're getting 2 projects done at once here. So let's start. Let's pick the image. What we're going to do initially is I'm going to show you how to use color select. So we go up to select. It's in the top bar. I know you can't see it, but it says select. And what we're going to do is use color range. And we're going to pick one color at a time and copy and paste it into another image. So we got color range right here. And what we're going to do is start with the largest amount of the color and then move towards the least. Okay, so we're going to pick that gray. I'm going to hold shift because I have a couple different kinds of gray here. Okay, say okay. And it's tried to find all of that gray. So I'm going to hit Command C, and then I'm going to open a new document. Say okay. And I'm going to Command V or paste. And then you get to see how much of that gray is in usage. Okay, looks like I got some of the blue actually. But that's okay. You get a good sense of that. Like there's a lot of gray at play here. So we'll go back to the image. Command D is deselect. You can also go to select and no, I guess you can't. Just Command or Control D is deselect. And then we're going to go to the next color that we think is the second most in usage. So we'll go up to select, color range, and let's get that dark blue. Seems like there's a lot of that dark blue. Okay, say okay. We're going to Command C, go over to our new document, and we're going to start a new layer. Okay, that layer we're going to call dark blue. Make sure you label your layers. You're going to, in the future, you're going to have to be working with other artists and designers, and they're going to want to know what the heck you're talking about in these layers. Like they want to work and collaborate with you. So if you don't get into a habit of labeling your layers, others will have no idea what you're doing, right? So it's also going to help you. So we'll say okay. And then we're going to Command V, paste it in. And then what you can do is you can turn the eyes off and on to see how much of one color versus another there is. Okay, so there's actually a lot of that dark. They're about equal. There's a lot of both. Okay, so now we have 2 layers done. Let's go back to our original image. Command D, deselect. Black is always a fairly high usage, or often, okay? So go ahead and, place your black pretty high on the range of percentage. Let's choose our black, say okay, copy it. Let's go over to our new document. And once again, we're going to do a new layer. We'll call this one black. Say okay, and then Command V. We're pasting it into that new layer. So let's turn off the others. You have a sense, yeah, there's a less black in the image. Put the darks in and then put the grays in. Right, so 3 layers, we have a lot of the image down. Okay, let's go back to the original. Command D, deselect. Let's go to select, color range, and we just have to choose. Like, what do we think is next? Do we think it's the red or the yellow? I'm thinking it's the red. So we'll go ahead and get the red. Now, interesting things when you're separating, you could achieve this mauve in the top of the semi and in this bubble with the red and the blue overlapping, maybe with a little yellow. So I went ahead and held shift down while I was making that selection, and it allows you to add colors to your color select. So if you hold shift and click the dropper, it's going to add that color to what you're selecting. Say OK. I'm going to copy that, go over to our new document. We're going to go layer new, and we're going to call this one red. So even though you're achieving like a mauve and maybe even an orange, it's occurring through the red layer, okay? Say OK, and we'll paste it, right? So everything there can be achieved with red overlap and blue overlap. So let's go back to the image, Command D, deselect. Let's select a new color range. And I'm just going down in usage, like what I think is the next most proportionate use. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that yellow. Hit a couple of your yellows because it's occurring in a couple places here. Yeah, say OK. Let's copy and go over to our new document, layer new always. We're going to call that one yellow. Say OK and paste it. Sometimes I don't know, I actually don't know why it does this, the registration shifts. Just shift it down. I got it close, and now I'm using my arrow buttons on my keyboard, okay? It's a really great way to make minor shift changes. Okay. Let's go back to our image, deselect. Let's do select color range. And let's grab our turquoise. Okay. If I go over here to fuzziness and pull it up, it'll try to seek that color out more, and I think there's a bit more. Say OK. Copy it. Go over to our new image, layer new. I'll call this layer cyan. It's a very traditional cyan color. We're going to paste it. It's looking good. It's looking pretty whole now. Let's go ahead and toggle between the two images. We're looking really good. Yeah, this is looking really fantastic. I think that the greens are missing, so we'll go to the greens. But just so you know, you need to do your whites as well, because you're going to have to map the proportion of the white usage, even though that could be paper. So let's go ahead and do white next. Okay. Say OK, copy it, go to our new document, layer new, and label it white. I'm going to paste that in. Okay. Let's go back to the original image, deselect, and let's get that dark green. Select color range. Here, we're going to get all the greens, dark and light, that we can. Okay. Take that down just a little bit more selection. Copy it, new document, layer new, call it green. Or plural, there's more than one kind of green in there. Paste it, okay? And then if you're curious about how much is in there, just turn the eyes off of everything else. And then you can really get a sense of how much green there actually is. Okay, so actually there's quite a bit of green. So let's turn on the whites, turn on the cyan, the yellow, very little yellow, very little red. Turn the black back on, dark blue back on, and the gray. And then we pretty much have the image, and it's separated out into layers. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with the gray. We have 8 layers. So you have 8 colors to paint into your graph, and now you can go through each of them and guess the percentage. It is a guessing game, okay? Like, we clearly have a lot of the darks in this image. Like, even the green, there's more of it than I thought. So I'm going to lower that on my list here. I'm going to even go below black. So it looks like there's a lot of gray and dark blue. In your graph, if you feel like they're taking, like the gray and the dark blue are taking up 50 or 60% of your image, you could take that 50% and put half of it with your darker blue and half of it with the gray, if you think they're occupying together 50 or 60% of the image, okay? And then you could go to the greens. How much percentage is black? How much percentage is red, yellow, white, and cyan? Like, the cyan seems to be less than 5%, right? Maybe even less than 3. And that's just a guessing game. You're just trying to make sure the proportions feel very similar to the painting usage, okay? And then keep your Photoshop document as it is here, separated into your 8 layers. And you can upload that Photoshop document as your color separation entry in your color journal. Okay, hope that was helpful.